It has been a long time. Um, Hold on. Yeah, okay. It has been a long time. I know I'm a fucking liar. I did not record a single fucking episode in China, but I did make a lot of notes. So I was gone for 3 months in China. I did do a lot of soul searching. I did end up healing a lot. I had a lot of time to think about myself. And yes, before anyone fucking asks, the mic is clipped on the spear of Longinus. Any Evangelion fans? But yeah, I did do a lot of soul searching. I had a lot of time to ponder, reflect, and think about myself, and then also think about, you know, why people in my family are the way they are, why I'm like the way I am. I'm still not 100% sure of myself and why I do things, I only find out afterwards, and I really still don't know who I am, to be honest. Um, so let's just start off. I made some notes. So while I was in China, I did deal with a lot of struggle about like my diet and stuff, just because like I was not used to eating actual 3 meals a day, while that was like the normal routine in China. And let me tell you, when I was in China, I had the best trips to the bathroom ever. Like, it's because I was eating so much and everything was getting pushed out of my colon, I think. Or maybe everything was just really fresh and like actually not processed and it was good food. It was like restaurant food, but it was still good food. And like you could see the kitchens, like everything's honest. Like the culture in China is very different. I forgot what it was like since I've been gone for so long. But yeah, the diet culture like I've consumed here in Canada has worked for me. Like I lost those 20 pounds immediately, like after 2 weeks. Okay, maybe not 20, that's exaggerating, but like probably like 10 or 15 pounds. But I don't care what people say, like about the negativity of like diet culture and stuff like that. Like that shit works for me. I do be putting my body through a lot because I do not eat properly. I do be eating processed foods and like snacking. I also only eat 1 meal a day, but that's because of circumstances in this household. I do not step out of my room because I do not feel it is safe for me to step out of my room. But honestly, like I've never looked better. Working out, I can definitely tell that I felt better and I definitely looked better. But I think that starving myself, at least like during this period, during this time period of my life, definitely put me in some moods. And it hasn't done anything, even if it hasn't done anything for me, like even if it's just placeboed me, like I'll take it. You know why? Because like I'm seeing myself in a better light. When I look at myself, I don't want to, I don't want to throw myself off a cliff. Like I don't hate what I see, or at least not as much as I did before. Okay, and then moving on from that, when I was in China, yes, I did have a lot of time to myself. I did not realize I had people that actually loved me, and I didn't know what actual familial like love was until I came back here and I just realized, like, wow, I really left people that actually loved me, bothered to check up on me, talk to me, ask me about my day, ask me about anything, just actually talk to me and have that kind of connection, try and make a connection, make an effort to make a connection. I didn't realize that I had lost that. And it was too late when I did realize, because, like, coming back to here, it was so just, it felt like my mind was going numb. Like, I felt so trapped. And speaking of trapped, I'll move on from that word. I just need to remind myself. But I wrote here, understanding my mom and why she left and why she is the way she is a lot easier now. All I ever really wanted was for my mom to understand me, but now being away from her and having this distance, I understand her more, and I hope it does the same for her. I don't necessarily think that me leaving or me being away really gave her any clarity. I don't even think it made her miss me at all, which is why during my trip to China, I was really just thinking, I'm just gonna, when I come back, I'm gonna work my ass off, get my license, get a car, move out, cut contact with my family. I never want to be connected to this family anymore, ever, at all. Because I realized, coming back, I realized I never had a place in this house. I never had a place in this family. Yes, I do have a room, and it might seem like my life is pretty okay, but I feel very trapped here. It's not like a constant physical abuse, but the thing is, when you're trapped here with someone that's caused you so much trauma, and the relationship is just really iffy. Like before, when I was younger, I did try and patch things up, but I was a child. Why is that my job? I'm realizing that now, but when I was younger, I felt that it was my duty, as the kid, because they always pointed me as the aggressor. When in fact, like, neither of them know how to be parents. My stepfather, a horrible, horrible, aggressive man that can never take accountability. He's misogynistic, and he doesn't believe that anyone experiences pain or struggle or suffering or stress except for him. He believes that the world owes him. And I will stand on that. I'll die on that. Yeah, I'll die on that. Because throughout my 18 years of being alive and knowing him, this is what I saw. And nothing's ever changed with him. He only listens to his own words, his own thoughts, nothing else from anyone. He'll only hear you out to use and twist your words to win his own argument. And when you are arguing with someone as actually stupid as that, and actually as misogynistic as that, you can never win, because what he's relaying back to you as a counter argument is not what you said at all and not what you meant. Bitch, I just recorded 30 minutes and the audio didn't fucking pick up. Oh my god. I guess I have to fucking restart that. But I left off at my stepfather being a horrible, horrible person. Where did I leave off? Okay. So I'm just gonna read from my notes that I wrote when I was in China, and then I'm gonna expand upon them. So I wrote down: experiencing what my mom grew up with and the difference in parenting between my mother and my grandparents, it was really eye-opening. It was really appalling, because my grandparents treated my mother so much differently than they treated me. And my sister likes to say that this might be the case because they want to make up for how they treated my mother by treating, their grandkids well, by treating her kids well. And I kind of get that. Yeah. But it's also just like, mom's done so much. My mom's done so much. And my grandparents aren't exactly the happiest with her right now, or necessarily like the most proud of her, especially with the man that she chose. And I kind of understand if there is another reason as to why they treat her differently than they treat, me and my sister. So, I wrote down what I miss about my life in Edmonton and what I like about my life in China. My life in China isn't all great, but it's definitely better than my life back in Edmonton. Or rather, my home life, because here I'm not scared to leave my room or reluctant to interact with family. I have peace here, but this peace has made me realize my life here ended a long time ago. All my friends, and especially my sister, are back in Canada. People I choose to spend my time and have earned themselves an important and sentimental place in my life. Now, this is true, and I will say I do not talk to my sister as often now, just because I realize that I can't be depending on her, for emotional support, especially when she has her own life to live. And the same goes for my friends. Even if they say that they're always there for me, I'm always reluctant. I'm always hesitant to like talk about myself or really seek comfort from them. Just because, that's usually my job. I'm usually the one comforting them. So it feels very foreign to me. And I just, it feels like such a burden to have my friends, to have people I love know this part of me and have this knowledge that, my family isn't that great, but that I also have a lot of problems myself. And I would never put that on anyone. I also like the reason why I'm also so hesitant to talk about myself with my friends is because in my head, I still haven't let go of the mentality of that, you know, it's everyone for themselves. I can only trust myself. I'm only here for myself, you know. So is everyone else. And I do have friends that always offer to, be moral support, emotional support, mental support for me. But I could never do that to someone. No. I think because I've gone through so many friendships where they've complained, like, oh, like, this friend treats me like their therapist. I'm not actually their friend. Like, yeah, you're my friend. You're not my therapist. Like, it's not your job to emotionally comfort me. And it's not mine necessarily either, but I don't mind it. And even if they don't mind it, I don't feel comfortable knowing that, well, more like not knowing that they're either comfortable or not with it. Because a lot of the time when I do talk about my life, not no one has anything else to say afterwards, or like they're kind of speechless for a bit. And I'm like, yeah, I lived through that. That's my life. Like I put on this facade that I know, I put on this smile. I don't have my family life as a secret necessarily, but I don't make myself sad visibly all the time. I try to be happy. I try to look like my life is going well, but it's not. I'm really eating at myself on the inside. I'm really just beating myself down because I'm scared. Life is really fucking scary. Like, it is, it's really unpredictable. And because I'm not in school right now, my path is just a bit unclear. I'm not scared to, I'm not scared of hard work, but I would like to know, what I'm working towards, where I'm going. And then another thing I wrote down, I have a lot. I think the happiest and freest times of my life so far come from my moments with my friends and time with my sister, because I could catch a glimpse of what my life can be and what I want in life. It gives me a goal to work towards, and it gives me a vision on, like, figuring out how to get there, a way that doesn't want to make me myself. I do understand it when people say life is hard, but I'm down for hard. Just not down for something that would push me down so far. I'd want to give up on everything I'm working for. I do have my weak moments, and like I said, I am not scared of hard work, but the thing is, everyone gets burnt out. I get burnt out, and especially when I see something that just really wakes me up, demoralizes me, devalues me, makes me feel like a number. It just makes me want to give up. It makes me feel like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing here? Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my efforts? What's happening? But what it is like to live in my parents' house, knowing whose footsteps are whose by the sound, making myself a canopy from my bed as a sort of safe place or safe space within my room, even though my room is supposed to be my safe space. But in reality, you never know who can step in that door or who can bust down that door at any moment. We do have locks on the doors because my stepbrother did steal money not too long ago from everyone, so we had to install locks. My mom did not fuck with the idea of us not having locks after that incident. But we can't even lock the doors anymore because my stepdad doesn't like it. I think because it reminds him of what his son did, and that we don't, or that I don't trust him, or that we don't trust him or his son. Um, I actually don't trust anyone in this house. Sometimes not even my own mother, because she would rather defend her husband than her kid, which is the whole reason I left, because I wanted her to experience what it's like for her to lose me. But in the end, she actually just gets the family that she chose to have instead of just the result of an awful man that left her. That awful man being my dad, my blood dad, my actual dad. He, I heard stories that, that he actually really loved me, that he really cared for me, and that a lot of people didn't understand why he did leave. I don't either. I did meet him one time, and it was okay, but when I did ask him why he left, he never gave me a clear answer. He just looked at me and said, it's more complicated than that. And he talked to me in such a tone like he was there for all those years, like he was actually my father for all those years that he missed out. It was in a fatherly tone. But in reality, that was the first time I met him. And I only knew him for about an hour. And then it was done. It was gone. Like that. I did get his contact later, but every time I shoot him a text when I'm in town or when I'm in the city, because he lives in a different city, I never get a reply. Also, after he met me, he did change his numbers and everything. And it was really hard to get another contact from him. So that kind of just gave me a sign. And the shocker is that I also have an older brother that I didn't know about until a while back. Um, I barely know anything about him. I just know his name, and that's it. I know that he's older than me, so I'm my dad's second kid. And there is a part of me that still really wants a relationship with my father, but I think that's only because I want another path other than my mother. I want to know if there's someone else out there that was supposed to be in charge of me, that was supposed to be my parent, that was supposed to love me and wants to love me. But I don't think that's the case. I was dealt this hand of cards. I was dealt this life. So now I have to deal with it. Growing up, I was generally oblivious about my father. I gradually knew more and more later on, but it never really affected me because I wasn't old enough or really even there to witness anything that he did. I don't even remember what he looks like, and I even met him once. I did want a relationship with him for a long time after I met him for the first time, and a part of me still does, but mostly I just don't even know if a father is really what I want. I didn't really have a father figure or a good father figure in my life. My grandpa, he was the best father figure I could have asked for. But here I wrote my grandpa was simply my grandpa, but now I changed my mind because now I realize my grandpa treated me like his son. And I would never change a thing. I love my grandparents so much. And it might not show on the outside because I really don't like texting. I don't text them, which I really should. I should really call my grandpa, see how he's doing. I might actually later today. I might. Um, Being apart from him now, living with my grandparents for 3 months, like I never felt so loved in my life because I was with people that actually cared for me and loved me. So I'm just gonna continue on. And my stepdad was just my mom's boyfriend to me. And he didn't do a good job as a father, and I don't think he can. He clearly failed with his first kid because he's horrible. And he failed with me because I was basically bullied my whole childhood because of him. But he's so lucky with my little brother because I've never seen such a kind, calm, and forgiving soul in my life before until my little brother. I say this because I've seen and heard multiple times where my stepdad is just yelling and raging at this literal child. He's like 8 to 9 years old at the time. And he's just there crying, but also begging for forgiveness and trying to do his best. It makes me so angry because my stepdad genuinely does not deserve it. From the shit I've heard from relatives and things I've witnessed myself, he deserves hell. Both him and his son deserve hell. I don't care what anyone says. I've never had more unadulterated rage and anger towards my stepdad than when he was yelling at my little brother for either the smallest things or literally nothing or something that he didn't do. I'm talking about the time that my little brother was trying to solve a math question and my stepdad was literally just raging at him because he couldn't get it. Bitch, you didn't even finish school. How are you teaching him math? Yeah, Be- because it gives me PTSD, and I also don't want him growing up like me and my sister, because I know for a fact my little brother is going to grow up with mental illnesses growing up in that house. Via this house. My stepdad also just gives me horrible advice, especially for a kid, which is, oh, he just gives horrible advice, especially to a kid. The fuck was I on? Which is why when his son joined our family, he literally got into fights and had suspensions and was in all types of shit. I hate it when my little brother runs into a problem. My stepdad tells him to just fight back. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Genuinely, what the fuck is wrong with you? His character, him as a person, him and his son, so my stepdad and my stepbrother, their first responses to anything is anger and aggression. Are you guys fucking cavemen? What's happening here? I don't understand. It's so jarring to see that people still act like fucking Neanderthals. And they look like it too. If you saw them, you'd fucking know. In my eyes, I don't know. When a person's personality is ugly, your physical appearance is automatically ugly to me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You look like a blobfish to me if you're ugly on the inside. So you're ugly on the outside. And I can say that for a lot of people, but I'll save that for another episode when I talk to you about past friend groups. Um, but yeah, it's just so awful to see my little brother just being like, please forgive me, or like, I'm sorry, when that asshole is literally just raging at him. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't take that shit. Of course not. I knew that man wasn't my father. I knew that it felt innate. It felt something in me just felt that him yelling at me as if he were my dad was not right. Because it wasn't. Because you're not my fucking father. And you never will be. And you've never earned that spot. Okay? You were given that title by my mother. You never earned the title of being my father from me. I don't give a fuck. You, he, sorry, I'm speaking as if the audience is my father, my stepdad. Fucking, he always rages on about, like, I provide for this family, you're under my roof, or like, my mom is always defending him over me. She's like, well, he pays for this place, like, he's an income here, like, he cooks for the family, like, he cooks, like, not cleans, he cooks, like, he provides. I'm like, girl, you guys bought expensive cars you can't even fucking afford. um I'm pretty sure he's getting less and less money every fucking day. He is not a deadbeat father, but he just doesn't know how to be a father. And my mother literally defended him. She defended him when he threw a plate at me. And the situation of when he threw the plate at me, okay, I don't like my stepbrother. This is known. I'm eating dinner. My sister's eating dinner. We're all eating dinner. My stepbrother comes up from the basement. I take my plate. I leave. Right as I'm about to leave the eyesight of the dining room, my stepfather throws the plate at me. All hell breaks loose. He starts yelling. I don't yell. I literally tell him, I'm just like, hit me. Like, I literally, like, I mentally, like, I broke. I was just like, hit me, bitch. I didn't say bitch, but I was just like, just hit me, get it over with. Like, I did this. And then my sister also crashed out. I don't know what their reasons were. You know, maybe just because they were sick of seeing all of this, witnessing all of this. Uh, they started picking up the broken pieces of the plate, and their hands were bleeding, and it was just real bad. I went to my room crying that night. I felt so unsafe. I woke up the next morning. I just started drawing. I started drawing the most horrific shit ever. I wanted to kill myself because I didn't want to live anymore. Because when something like that happens, it's really fucking awful. And that was how I processed it. I processed it by not wanting to live and by drawing horrific shit. Because I was an artist, I was an artsy kid. My mom comes into the room and she just hands me like this piece of bread on a plate. Was that an apology? If I don't want apologies, I don't like I don't even know what I wanted. I actually no. I wanted him to say sorry. I wanted him to correct his behavior. I wanted him to act right. But none of that happened. He threw a plate at me all those years ago. He never said sorry. And even if he would muster up the fucking strength that that pussy has to say sorry now, I would not accept his apology because you had years. You had years to apologize, and now you're doing it? The time limit's up. I'm not accepting apologies anymore. I'm so dead ass. And this is why I'm so ready to cut contact with my family. This is why my plan was to just work my ass off, move up in life, get what I need, move out, never look back, leave, never have contact again. My mother has the family that she wants. She has the family that she chose. She can live with it. She doesn't need me anymore. She never wanted me. She never needed me. There's no point in me staying in her life. And whenever the topic of my mother comes up, it's just painful. It's just really fucking painful to think about because she was supposed to be my mother. She was supposed to defend me. And I never got that. I never got my mother defending me or standing up for me. Every time I had to stand up for myself in this house, I would just get punished and she would watch. And my sister, she, sorry, not she, my sister, if they were here to chime in on this, they would just say, well, there's not much she can do. Yes, the fuck shit there is. It's just too late now. And even then, she could have like threatened divorce, something. Show me that you actually give a fuck. Show me that you actually give a fuck about me. If you don't, I'm just gonna leave. And that's all she's shown me. All she's shown me is that she will never stand up for me. She'll never stick up for me. Her role as my mother is a default for her. She'll never do more. That's why I'm leaving. That's why I want to leave. That's why I never want to have contact with this part of my family ever again. Ever. Throughout my whole childhood, all they did was yell at me. That's why my Chinese is so bad because all I know how to do in Chinese is yell at people. And all they would do is call me selfish. And I think that all of the shit that they've put me through when I was a child, I couldn't process then, and it's all hitting me now. yeah, it's all hitting me now. And it's made me realize so much. And it's really allowed me to disconnect myself from this family and disconnect myself from the people here. Because to go through all that as a child and for it to hit you all at once when your frontal lobe isn't even fucking developed yet, do you know how painful that is? Not physically, but mentally. Like it's like so your heart is here, right? It feels like someone just grabbed it and started squeezing it and like twisting that shit. And it genuinely hurts. It's two types of pain that are hitting you at once. It's emotional pain and physical pain. Because I don't think my mind can genuinely fathom how a mother does that to their child. This is why I say that, like, whenever I say that my mother has no fist or like no say in this household, I say to her in Chinese, I say, 你係冇權冇話事. She says to me, she replies back, what do you mean I do? Okay, you do, but you won't stick up for me, even though you know I did nothing wrong. And everyone's always trying to tell me, well, not everyone, my mother is always trying to tell me, like, well, you have to think about it. Like, what could it look like? What do you mean? What could it look like when I leave the dinner table when he comes up? Everyone knows I don't like him. Everyone knows you don't like him. At least I'm doing something about it. And whenever I stand up for myself, I get punished. What the fuck is that? This was never a house. This was never a home to me. This was a house. This has always been a house. The only home I've ever known is whenever I'm with my grandparents. What was I say? I have one more note. A lot of my relatives back in China told me a lot of things about my family because they saw me coming back as a sign of letting me know things, almost like a rite of passage to know the family tea. But they're very biased, and I low-key fuck with that bias. Um, they told me a lot of stories about my mom, and also told me their opinions on the person that she's become. And while everything they said I didn't agree with, there were some things that I thought were true, and it gave me some clarity. But they also rooted a lot of the problems to my stepdad because he was already fucked in life. And and he saw my mom and he decided to drag her along with him. Maybe he thought that she could fish him out. She was barely making it by herself. And maybe he thought that she could fish him out of his debt. But instead, look at where we're at now. He ruined her life. He ruined my life. He ruined my my mom's side of the family's life, to be honest. And all because my mother has horrible taste in men. And that man, unfortunately, is an asshole. And she decided to stick with him. I hold a lot of resentment and anger for that, for my mother. Because I believe that when you do have kids, you make a commitment to them because you chose to have them. They didn't choose to be born, they didn't force their way into your womb. You chose to have them. I could have been aborted. I could have been orphaned. I could have been donated. But she chose to have me and keep me. And same thing with my sister. She was already getting help from my grandparents. And even, yeah, sure. Okay, maybe that wasn't enough. You could have took us back to China. We would have lived fine lives there. She didn't want to leave because she had her reasons and things here that kept her sentimentally bound here. And while I do understand that, you can come back and visit, okay? I don't know what promise you made to who, but I really feel like if my mother went back to China, she would have enjoyed her life a lot more. Oh my god, I just realized the sticker that I had like over my camera literally took the lens off. Well, anyways, okay, it's cool. Anyways, there's no difference. But yeah. And what I mean by my stepfather really screwed over my mom's side of the family, which is honestly the only side of the family that I have. So, my entire family is because of his poor financial decisions and their own, and like their, so like my mom and my stepdad's collective poor financial decisions. My mom's like shopping problem and just all the debt that my stepdad has like racked up and like all the bills and shit. My mother asked my grandparents for money, and that's where I really got disappointed and disgruntled and mad because they're living fine, they're living well, leave them alone. She took so much money to the point where at one point they had to start worrying. And my grandparents are pretty well off. My grandma worked her ass off. My grandpa was in the military. They both had good money and they were both able to live comfortably. And because of my mother now, because of the amount of money that she asked for, and they unfortunately had to give to her because in their head, oh, that's our only daughter. We have to give it to her. When I went back, I already told my grandparents, like, you should have never given mother money. You should have let her figure it out herself. This is the hole that she dug herself. You need to let her find a way out on her own. Don't help her. And they agreed. They regret giving her money because now, for the time being, they have to be financially really careful. Thankfully, my grandma has lots of family and lots of resources. Well, not lots, but she has family and resources that she can look to that can help them. I will not disclose any more information about my grandparents' financial state, but that is why I'm not too fond of my mother currently, especially when I left, when I found out that she was given money by my grandparents. Now, I'm not going to say that she forced them to give it to her, but my mother did have my grandmother's credit cards. I don't know any more information. Usually my sister knows about this because they talk the most. But I talk to my grandparents, so I'm on the other side. My grandparents, they do like to over exaggerate things, but I think in this case, they aren't completely in the wrong. And my mother right now doesn't have the best relationship with my grandparents, but you know, girl, the most hypocritical thing, just like it occurred when I came back. My mom doesn't have the best relationship with her parents right now, my grandparents, because they don't like my mom's husband and because they had to give her money but they didn't want to. And there was an instance when I came back when we were moving stuff and my stepdad saw that my mom was carrying a box and he yelled at me. He said that that's your mom, like like, are you okay? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's your mom, you see her struggling, like carry it for her. Like, all you know how to do is sleep, play, and eat. And then that whole week I didn't eat at the house. I only ate at work because I fucking hate him so much. I don't care. I'll starve myself. I'll cook myself and blame and like put it on him because it is because of him. And honestly, I will not feel bad if he goes to jail. I really don't care. He's done enough to me to honestly make me have no empathy towards him anymore. He can rot. I would not care. If he does die in the future, if he does in the future, I didn't do it. Okay? Because it's not my job to ruin his life. He does that all on his own, clearly. But I just. Oh, and also, like, when I went back to China, I saw a bunch of photos of my mom when she was younger, and I don't know if I've already mentioned this because I'm re recording this, but I saw those and I just started bawling because I know if that young girl saw her life now, she would be so disappointed. I could tell that she had big dreams and that life was simple for her. But now her life is like this. She's almost lost all of her kids. I do not know how my little brother's going to turn out. I'm prepared to leave. My sister will keep connections with my mom, but she will not come back here. I'm sorry. They will not come back here. Um, because they have their own life. Because they moved out to another city. And they know how toxic this household can be. And they don't want to come back. They'll keep in contact with my mother, but with our mother, but they would not come back. My mother lost me a long time ago when she decided that her husband would take more priority in her life than her son. I saw that decision and I accepted it. And it was easy for me to let go. It was easy for me to be mad at my mom because at that point she wasn't my mom anymore. I don't know who that woman was. My family told me lots of stories about how my mother she loved me so much. But later on, that wasn't the case. And throughout my whole childhood, they would call me selfish, and I'd get punished and grounded, and my mom would just watch. Never defend me. She'd never stand up for me. I've always had to stand up for myself. My mother would just watch me get punished and yelled at and bullied. And they would see my grandparents' love towards me as spoiled. But in reality, they call that spoiled because they don't know what the fuck love is. They don't know what family love is. My grandparents told me that they loved me so much because they knew that my mom would turn out like this. And that if they didn't love me, no one else would. They foresaw that I would be alone in this world and that I would have to fend for myself. And they taught me a valuable lesson that you cannot trust anyone but yourself because you have your own best intentions at heart. And I've never regretted a single moment with my grandparents. In China, yes, there were a lot of situations I was not very happy with my grandparents. They had a hard time understanding me, but in the end, I still love them so much because they were there for me. They were there for me and no one else was there. When no one else was there, because there never will be. And they were right. They were right to take care of me instead of my mother. And they taught me more than I think my mother ever could have. And I love them so much. And I'm so grateful that I had them to raise me, or else I would not be the person I am today. And we are past 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna cut it off now. But that basically summarizes like my self discovery, all my thoughts when I was in China. I'll talk about like for the next couple episodes. Here, I'll plan out here. I'll talk about what I did in China, my shopping, and like what I ate, and like my family events, and like, stuff like that, how much fun I had. And then another episode, I'll talk about friend groups, past friend groups, how they betray me, how they still talk about me to this day. And then another episode, I'll talk about work. Oh my god, work has me fucked up right now, girl. Listen, that might be the next episode because I need to strike when the iron's hot. I Okay, here's a sneak peek. I'm not mad anymore about work, but I do need to get it out. I do need to speak it out because I just feel so much unsettled, unrequited irritation and anger about work right now. I need to strike when the iron's hot. So that might be the next episode. But I'm not mad necessarily anymore. I've learned to let things go. And that's the sneak peek. That's what I'll let you have. But yeah, I'm gonna end it there. That was my journey. That was my self-discovery journey. I still have a lot to go because I still have a life to live. I don't know if it's long or short though. So I will see you on the next episode.